and our esteemed speakers to our first annual Juneteenth celebration. I'd like to thank the REI subcommittee because they're the ones who put this all together, and I'd like to send a special to Mr. Buddy Baker Smith who made this all possible. Before we start, we just want to go over some housekeeping items, and so we want to make sure that everybody keeps their mask on in this tent, and unless you're speaking, and we will also be seating our guests for lunch. Everyone will exit out this way, see Deb, and she will usher you around. We'll have our first seating will be the red color, second seating will be green, and the third seating will be the yellow. As far as our Juneteenth walk through history there, we put a lot of thought into that because we wanted this to be a learning experience. We want to be an educational, reflective celebration. So we can't have the good times without the bad times, so we had to take you through history. Next, I'd like to welcome Mrs. Whitney Marshall. Whitney is the daughter of two proud Baptist ministers. Naturally, her introduction to singing was via church choirs as a youth and during her high school and college years, training in classical and performance entertainment. Whitney holds an MBA and is an Army veteran, a performance coach, a passionate supporter for mental health care, and a dedicated member of various local charity organizations. Whitney Marshall is also an employee of the Department of Mental Health. Currently a case manager site supervisor for the Child and Adolescent Department in Central Mass. We are honored to have her as part of our today's event. So without further ado, I'm going to ask Mr. Whitney to come up here, and we're going to ask you all to stand for the Black National Anthem.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let a rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let us resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has brought us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has taught us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory. Let us march on till victory. Let us march on till victory has won. Really quick, pioneers, please put your hands in the air. Pioneers, these are your DMH REI pioneers. Please give it up. Michelle Paris took us on a journey, and we are on it. We are on it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Whitney. I didn't even know I could speak after that. That's fantastic. Without further ado, we'd like to introduce one of our special guest speakers, Senator Pacheco.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very, very much.
And let me just begin by saying, Whitney, that was just extraordinary. I want to hear more. That's what I want to do. I want to hear much, much more. And by the way, your MC today, he's got a voice that sounds a little bit like Marvin Gaye. And you know, he was quick to credit Buddy Baker Smith in some of the work that he has done in just allowing people to bring their own voice to all of this and to the celebration. But I had the opportunity to talk to Buddy Baker Smith, who I've known for years now, and have worked on so many issues here at Taunton State in mental health issues statewide. And I want you all to know that he credits all of you. He said this has been staff-driven, staff ideas that has come forth, and all he had to do is simply embrace them. So I want to thank Buddy Baker Smith for his leadership, which is a leadership style that respects. Because this holiday has a lot to do with respect. For people, no matter who you are, where you come from, what your background is. So I want to thank all of you, in particular this little leadership team. I know one thing, I bet you those meetings that you had were full of good song and good food and good cheer, because that's what I get from all of you. And I look forward to getting to know you a lot better. You know, this Juneteenth annual commemoration of the end of slavery in the United States, following the issuance of the Emancipation Proclamation of President Lincoln all the way back on January 1, 1863, not all enslaved people immediately found freedom. There were over 250,000 people that remained slaves in Texas. Even after they were freed by the Emancipation Proclamation. And on June 19th, 1865, that's the date that marks the date that Major General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, and announced the end of both the Civil War and slavery. The celebration of Juneteenth was revived during the Civil Rights Movement by so many civil rights leaders that continued to remind all of us of our history, as your MC indicated, both the good and the bad part of our history. Juneteenth honors the end to slavery in the United States and is considered the longest running African American holiday. Right. And on June 17, 2021, last year, on this date, President Biden signed the Juneteenth National Independence Day Act, which officially made Juneteenth a federal holiday that we'll celebrate on Monday. So, it's one thing to have the federal holiday. It is one thing to have it in spirit, but it is yet another to make sure we make it fully count. Where the actions we take as a government, as private corporations, as individuals here in the U.S., really do everything we can to respect and include all people in our society. And that's why I was so happy to hear about the efforts that were taking place here relative to outreach, for inclusivity, diversity, equity. Here at Taunton State, within DMH, with leaders like Buddy Baker-Smith, and the staff leaders that are here that have helped to organize and put this event together. Because without that, we will not achieve what the holiday is really focusing on. Understanding our history, and the need for respect for all people, and to make sure that those in the African American community are a full partner in our society, so that we can be the country that continues to be respected around the world, a country that includes every single one of us, no matter what our background. And when we do that, then we truly are the United States of America. God bless you all. Thank you very much for the wonderful celebration that you put on today.
What's going on?
And that's why that he's one of our senators. He represents us so well. And you know, this building wouldn't be around if it wasn't for this man right here. So we are Pacheco. Next up, we're going to have the our DMH's Chief of Staff, Mrs. Crystal Collier.
Okay. Good morning, afternoon, morning. Oh, hello everyone.
Hey, Crystal.
Senator Pacheco, thank you so much for coming and being a part of this event. Your support for DMH is greatly appreciated. And Whitney, I heard church when you sang. I think I scared somebody in the back when I did my So thank you so much. I have to tell you that I have been, as soon as I heard about this, I couldn't wait. I've been excited. I have been thrilled about being here, and I'm so glad to be here with you all today. What I want to do is just kind of start with a poem. I have been looking at poetry, and this is from Amanda Gorham, and it's called Back to the Past. At times, even blessings will bleed us. There are some who lost their lives and those who were lost from ours. who we might now re-enter, all someone summons softly. The closest we get to time travel is our fears softening, our hearts unclenching as we become more kin as we return to who we were before we actually were anything or anyone. That is, when we were born unhating, unhindered, and howlingly wetly. With everything we could yet become, to travel back in time is to remember when all we knew of ourselves was love. That poem resonated for me for today is because we're here to celebrate. We are here to celebrate a people who have been strong and resilient, not by choice, but had no choice to be resilient and survived hundreds of years. And today is our day to celebrate. And so I am so glad and I am so grateful to the team that put this together. If you were a part of, so everybody who's got a red shirt on, if you were part of organizing or putting this together, can you please stand up if you're not already standing up? And can people please stand up? This was an amazing effort, and their work, their commitment, and the passion that they showed in putting this together cannot be understated. I was able to sit in on some calls with them, and it was amazing. It's one of those things, you know, when you have meetings and you have meetings all day, and then you have the one that makes you feel good. So that's what that is, and that's what this is. And I'm so glad to be here to celebrate. I'm not going to drone on, and I actually could. And people here, stop laughing, Charlotte, can actually speak to that. But what I actually want to talk about is the fact that we are sitting here today is not by accident. We at DMH are at a turning point. We are at a crossroad. And I actually want to give you a little bit of background to how we got here. So I would say, Danielle, I'm looking at you, 4 years ago? Hermit problem? 6. Anyway, so at one point in time, 5-6 years ago, put it that way, we did an executive leadership series on REI and diversity. And we brought in Kermit Crawford, some of you may know him, to actually facilitate this group. It was 6 weeks of talking together, working together, and trying to learn a little bit more about ourselves and actually how we're positioned to this work. And it was incredible. And it was incredible to be in the group. It was incredible to hear what people were going through. And your own Buddy Bakersmith was a star in this space. I will never forget coming into that meeting, and Buddy was like, you know, well, I went home last weekend and I watched I Am Not Your Negro. It's a documentary on Netflix around James Baldwin. It's the title of the book. And I was like, oh, Buddy, okay. I see you. Thank you. And I mention this is because Buddy did the work. Buddy looked within himself. Buddy actually said, I need to know more. I need to reflect on who I am. I need to reflect on the choices I make. I need to reflect and learn more about what's going on. So you here in the Southeast, the reason you're here in the Southeast and you have this opportunity is in part because of that work. But I'll get back to Buddy later. The other piece about that is, and so as great as that series was, what I will tell you is I did not walk out of that series hopeful. There were some pieces and pockets of people that had picked up the work, and you can see it, and they were going to go back and they were doing their work. But I can't say that for everybody. I can't say that we as a department was ready and on board and able to move forward into having difficult conversations and really even raising. That was not where we were when we left that conversation. And I can't say that I felt hopeful at all. I just went about my business and did what I needed to do, but I was like, I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'm just going to keep focused on what I can control. Then I went away for a year. And let me tell you, when I got back, I was stunned. So from where we started 5 years ago to where we were when I came back to the department last June, I came back to people having difficult conversations. I came back to people taking up the work in their areas, people actually talking about this and asking questions and being open and being vulnerable. And I was amazed. And I became hopeful. I stand here today hopeful. I stand here today seeing the future for DMH and what we can do and what we can become. And it is exciting. It is also scary because it is going to be hard, because we've had some conversations, but we have not had all of the conversations that we need to have. And if you look around, and this is an incredibly diverse space, and it is good to see the diversity in this space, but this is not what our department looks like all the time. You can go in, so this is going to be my ask for you. I want you to go into spaces. I want you to think about when you walk into the room and look around the room and see who's in the room with you. And ask yourself, what's that about? Because this is unique. This is unique. There are places and spaces where people are actually taking that on and you're seeing the change, but it is not what it looks like all the time. And on this Juneteenth, and for this celebration, I just want to acknowledge that for people who look like me, people who look like Whitney, when we're the only ones in a room, that's challenging. But we're here to do the work. We believe in the work the same as you, and we are here to make a difference. So we step into that space. But make no mistake, it is challenging and sometimes harmful. So today, since while we're celebrating, I want to celebrate the fact that we still show up, that our people have showed up and kept on fighting and continue to keep on fighting, despite the fact that it's hard, despite the fact that it's harmful. And for those people, and I don't say allies, I say accomplices. Because an ally, they can smile at you and say all the good things, but when it gets hard, the question is, are they still standing beside you? I say accomplice because you know what? Not only is that accomplice going to be right here next to me, when something goes down, they're going to step in front of me. So what I'm going to challenge you all to be are accomplices. When we sit here, when you see something, say something. That actually has dual meanings. So that's what I'm going to leave you with in that space. So where we are now, if you've all looked at the newsletter, the commissioner's message, so she's rolled out REI integration. This is not a project. This is not an initiative. This is how we are framing and shaping our business. There's a place in that work, and you're going to hear more of it along the way. There's a place in that work for the REI integration for everyone to contribute. Everyone has a part to play. Everyone's voice is important, and we're going to need you to be able to realize the vision of that pyramid. It's not separate, it's just in the work we do. So if you're doing service authorization, how are you doing service authorization? How are you thinking about the person as a whole in terms of what challenge they're coming to? It's not just mental health challenges. What else in their lives may make it difficult for them to get here? What else in their lives may have contributed to how they got here? So if you're doing service authorization, you have a part. If you are someone who works on the inpatient side and works in the hospital, and you are someone who cooks the food, if you are someone who cleans the place, and if you are someone, you have a part because you are there as a part of how do you smile, how do you acknowledge each other, how do you see fully the people around you and who they are, because you have a part in this too. Your energy, your attitude, your feelings, your thoughts, your passions, all of these things hold a place in this work. And I'm excited. And I think there was someone on this REI committee who, people have reason to be distrustful of DMH. That's true. And someone looked at me and I was like, I can tell you, I've been around for a little bit. And this is my second go around with DMH. And I have never, in my entire time, been hopeful, optimistic, and ready to move forward, because I think we can at this point. I know we can at that point. And so I am ready to engage in that fight, and I hope you all are ready to come along with us. as I kind of close this up, because I've been rambling a little bit, I want to talk about the Southeast and the work that the Southeast has done. Now, all of the areas have been doing really great work, but we're not in all of the areas, so I'm just talking about Southeast. So, the work that has been done in the Southeast. So, they took part in a 21-week challenge. It was a modification of a 21-day challenge, working with the Y. They have done REI leadership coaching with Elix Syntron. They have had training for all hiring managers about the best practices in hiring and inclusive habits for hire managers. And then in February 21, they introduced a training series. And some of the trainings that were offered were Race and Racism in New England and Understanding Allyship. This is an incredible work. They are taking it, they are challenging folks to do and explore and understand themselves and think about how do they want to approach this work. Let's be clear, again, this is not going to be easy. It is going to be hard, it is going to be difficult. So I'm also going to give you something for people in the room who may not look like me. You're going to say something to somebody despite best intentions, and they're going to be mad about it. Somebody is going to be mad about it. It's not what you intended, but it is how it landed. And that's okay. Get curious. Ask what was, if the person is willing to talk to you about it, talk to the person. What did you experience in that moment? I had the fortune of someone in central office. I had a moment in a meeting, scared them a little bit. And they actually came and asked me about what happened. And we had an incredible conversation. And I so appreciated and respected the fact that they cared enough about this issue to come talk to me about it. So what I'm going to say to you is you're going to mess up. We're all going to mess up. But don't be afraid. Don't be scared. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep moving. So I've given you 3 things. So, look around the room, be an accomplice, not an ally, and don't be afraid. Finally, Buddy Bakersmith, one of my faves. So as I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about this work and thinking about how everyone holds a part of this work, and then I was thinking specifically about leadership. And what leadership is to me in this sense is not doing all the work. We do not have all of the answers, nor should we be expected to. So what our role as leadership is, one is to get in the trenches with you, but it is also creating a pathway that allows you to be seen, heard, and act. That's what leadership is for, and that is actually what Buddy did today. And I appreciated Senator Pacheco's remarks about what Buddy has and the fact that Buddy said that this was all a team effort, and it absolutely was. But what I'm going to say is I'm going to reframe a little bit. Buddy didn't allow people to do something. Buddy created a space where people could do something. He didn't get in the way. He has taken his lumps, he has taken the pushback, he has taken all of the things, and he gave a way for people to be seen, to be heard, and to create an event like this. So with that, I'm going to stop talking. And I'm going to bring up Buddy, because I get the honor of introducing your Southeast Area Director, Buddy Bakersmith.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, I had some prepared remarks, and we'll get to those, but I guess I have to really share the inspired remarks too. So it's about opening doors, and I am kind of completely blown away by the work and the attention to the detail and the creativity that the staff in the Southeast coming together with the door open to take this idea of we want to celebrate Juneteenth several months ago and run with it in ways that I honestly could not imagine, and with the attention to the kind of detail that I wouldn't have thought of. All of the, I really encourage folks certainly to go into the gym and really have a slow walkthrough, spend some time there. But I'm reminded Crystal opened the door for me and leadership at DMH. And so sometimes doors get opened because people open them and enable people to walk through, cross that threshold. And I think that Crystal took the very bold step of opening this door and challenging us to step across the threshold. And that work is personal work, and it always will be personal work when we talk about race and racism. But then I'm also thinking back to last year, or thinking back for, as I get older, the dates get confusing. What's not confusing to me, though, is sometimes doors are kicked open. And I think the murder of George Floyd kicked open a door for all of us. And for the first time in my 30-some-odd years at DMH, it was really clear from the administration down that we had to talk about this. We were challenged and given the opportunity to take on the question of race and institutional systemic racism, how it is with us today, and how all of us, particularly white people like me, have a stake in a better world. And that's a tough way to be invited into something. People shouldn't have to lose their lives for that opportunity to be made for us to confront what has been with us all along. But I think early on in my message to staff that we can take on the challenge here. The workplace is ours that can be changed. Hard to imagine how we influence and change the world or some of the communities we live in. The workplace, I think, is reachable. But I've always been clear that that was not anything that I was going to do for anyone. It was personal work of my own. But the only way the workplace will change, and the only way how we deliver our services will change, is if each and every one of us takes up that work and commits to that, and then it will change. And that really opened the door for REI Steering Committee and the leadership that they have given to the area. A tremendous amount of gratitude. Now he reaches for his prepared remarks. But I really couldn't get to this paper without really acknowledging how doors open. And when they're open and available, what people do with it. It's extraordinary. So this is going to sound odd. So we'll get over the first couple of sentences. Because I'm going to say, welcome to the first Southeast Area first annual Juneteenth celebration. Thank you. That'll get me over the hump here. Thank you for working with me on this. We're here today to mark the Juneteenth holiday that commemorates the end of slavery. And I am in awe with the creativity, attention to detail, and hard work that the planning committee has put into this event. And the enthusiastic volunteers who have pitched in. Please, and we can't thank them enough, be sure to thank all of those in the very cool red t-shirts. And Juneteenth is a time to rejoice and reflect. And there's much opportunity for rejoicing and reflecting today on the meaning of Juneteenth. And we will celebrate in song. Oh my God, we celebrate in song already. Thank you. I didn't know about you until folks said, oh, you know Whitney from Central Mass. And I'm like, she sings? Oh, you know, people. Boy, do you sing. Thank you. We will celebrate in song, story, great food, and fellowship. African American families have celebrated Juneteenth for more than 150 years. Let this be our DMH family celebration. The first annual celebration, I might add. The organizers of this event have also taken great care to make today an opportunity for reflection. I encourage all of you to view the exhibits in the Sylvia Gym. Read the placemats that the food comes with. This holiday marks the joy of liberation and freedom. It makes me pause and kind of imagine for a moment what it must have felt like on June 19, 1865. We come together today to keep that spirit alive. Juneteenth is a day for reflecting not only on the past, but on the present and future as well. It is a day to remind us that the struggle for equality in this country, this state, the communities we live in, and the Department of Mental Health is not over. The work to build up a better community that is welcoming and inclusive for all is unfinished work. We are confronted by the voices and actions of hate that sow division in our communities and terrorize people of color. And it is ever so important now that the anti-racist voices be heard loud and clear. The voices that demand an equitable, inclusive, and respectful world to live in. The voices and actions that will transform today into a better tomorrow for all. That is what I hear and see today. So this is my reflection today as I join you in celebrating Juneteenth. The Southeast DMH family is here for this celebration, and our extended family into Central Mass, into Central Office. Many hands have made this possible, including contributions from staff at Taunton State Hospital and Corrigan Mental Health Center. Our coming together today is a witness against hate and a demonstration of what is possible when we come together. Acknowledging our history and our present struggle, but also showing what we can accomplish in creating a more inclusive and welcoming place to work and to receive services. My gratitude goes out to all who are here today and who have made today possible. Let this be a joyful time together. Thank you. Percy deserves a special shout out. It's only the tip of the iceberg. I'll find another way to say more about that later. Now I want to introduce Mayor Sean O'Connell. Is that correct? All right, thank you. Mayor O'Connell has been a champion of mental health services at the State House and now in the city of Taunton, taking the initiative to educate the community, to create opportunity for the community to talk about mental health and opportunities to understand where to get help. And she's been a tremendous advocate for mental health services and has taken that leadership into the city of Taunton as well. And the mayor? Oh my gosh, I'm looking around. Thank you so much.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Thank you for inviting me this afternoon. I am just thrilled and honored to be here and to listen and to learn and to meet so many new people today. And I do want to start by thanking each of you for the work that you do every day at Taunton State Hospital, in our community, and across the Commonwealth. You are true heroes that make a tremendous impact in the lives of so many individuals, and we are grateful for you. Thank you. Juneteenth commemorates the end of slavery, but also commemorates, I think, the beginning of the real fight for freedom and equality. Today, Juneteenth is a time for reflection, for fellowship, and for celebration. It's an opportunity to identify where we need to improve and to join together to make those changes happen. Standing here at Taunton State Hospital in celebration of Juneteenth inspires us to talk about improving mental health awareness and access to services. And as a lifelong Tauntonian, I can't tell you how much I appreciate Taunton Hospital being here and all the help that they've given to so many people over so many years. We know that disparity exists in mental health care for African Americans. Two main contributors of disparity are stigma and lack of services. Stigma of mental health conditions persists throughout the United States, throughout our community, everywhere. But it can be particularly strong within the Black community. And research shows, doctors tell us, that this increased stigma and lack of access have many causes and several root causes. One of which is a history of racism and not wanting to look inferior or weak. A lack of cultural awareness by medical health professionals. Distrust of the medical system by the Black community. A lack of culturally competent providers and difficulty accessing healthcare, particularly with the high cost of healthcare. Disparity results in members of the minority communities being less likely to seek treatment. But standing here with you today, talking openly about disparity, about its causes and its consequences, is an important step in removing the stigma and opening up that access. Together, we are challenging and changing the stigma of mental health. We're challenging the inequalities that are inherent in the mental health system. And we're challenging the perception that people must suffer alone. We are saying you are not alone. We are here for you. Here in the city of Taunton, we are taking concrete steps to support children's mental health. We've funded social workers at after-school programs at the Boys and Girls Club, the YMCA, and Girls Inc., and it has become a model program for other after-school programs. We're funding summer programs for underserved children with a focus on confidence building and mental health supports right here in our city. We're investing in our children and we're investing in our future. Today, as we celebrate the freedom that was finally acknowledged on June 19, 1865, we renew our determination to continue to fuel change and progress And we celebrate the resiliency of the human spirit that never gives up, even in the face of disparity and great challenge. I'm grateful for this opportunity to stand by your side, driven by a shared commitment to equality, to good health, and to providing opportunities for people to lead happy and meaningful lives. Happy Juneteenth, and God bless. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mary Conlon. And now we're going to seat. If you have a red sticker, we're going to be seating for lunch. So if you can go up this way and see Deb, she'll sit around that way. And we got a special little something for you. Whitney has agreed to sing one more time for us.
So listen now, my director is watching, and I said I was only going to do one, but it's Juneteenth, right? It's Juneteenth. So DJ Trigger, give it up for DJ Trigger. Try to get a sing-along going on with some Al Green. Yeah? If you know the words, I want you to sing along, okay? Come on. I'm so in love with you. Whatever you want to do is all right with me. 'Cause you make me feel so brand new. You remember the song? And I want to spend my life with you. Sing it, Kelly. Sing it, Kelly. Since somebody, since we've been together, loving you forever. That's right. You're what I need. Let me be the one you come running to. You know it, Shirley. I'll never be untrue. Come on. Let's all stay together, loving you whether times are good or bad, when we're happy or sad. Yeah. Now you guys got a good rhythm here. The South Kicks, I like that. Yeah. Here we go. Weather times. Whether times are good or bad, when they're happy or sad. Come on. Why? Now we're talking about clients here. Why do people break up? Right? Turn around and make up. I just can't see. Yeah. But you never do that to me. Well, MH, we'll never do that, right? 'Cause all I see is what I want to do and let all to stay together. I'm loving you whether times are good or bad, when they're happy or sad. I want y'all to sing this one. Let's stay together. You guys are awesome.
Now while we're seating our guests with the red stickers, DJ Trigger's going to play a couple tunes for us while we set up for our special guest storyteller.
Thank you, Pacheco.
Something like this. Listen here.